Why did I create a book called Send It Over Master It when it comes to AI? Well, for some pretty good reasons. And one is right here. I just saw one of my buddies that's in AI. He runs a awesome AI business post updates on ChatGPT or Codex's 5.6 and benchmarks against Mythos. Now, for my content and my stuff, I do not want to focus on the super technical aspects of these AI models. There's a niche out there for that, but for actually getting results in real life, getting results in business, making money, those things really don't matter to the average entrepreneur out there. They matter if you are developing some sort of tech startup or application. You actually have to find and have these technical benchmarks for these models. They might matter there, right? If you're working in that space, but most of the people I want to help and work with are not super tech nerds, right? And if you are, that's fantastic because the stuff I teach helps super tech nerds get out of the super tech nerdiness of all the optimization things and actually find ways to help people solve problems and make money beyond just like creating a perfect problem, mastering something. Because the reality is with these models is that they're just going to get better and better and better over time. Okay, and so what my buddy shared was that the GPT 5.6 is almost at the same level of what Mythos is, showing Mythos is above Opus 4.8. And again, if you don't know all these terms, that's okay. Like you don't necessarily need to. This is why the whole philosophy of send it over master it with AI is so important because AI is developing at a pace faster than you and I can keep up. Shoot, even the people working in AI aren't able to keep up with the pace at which AI is developing, okay? And it's why I come to you in these videos. I'm wearing a hat because, my hair's all messy, right? It's a Sunday as I'm making this. I got my, my I don't even know what type of shirt this is, but I got it on, right? I'm here making the videos just because you got to go fast, right? And in a world where everything can be curated or AIification, it's kind of weird, but I have an AI channel, but I'm coming to you very unscripted, very informal, but you need to be able to move fast and you need to be able to be real. I think that's really, really important, and that'll be increasingly important as we move forward and these models get better, the AI content gets better, the UGC gets better, all of that stuff, right? But for you, what you should be worried about and focused on is finding ways to use the strongest models possible that you can afford. And I talk about this all the time on how to do that. If you want to learn more about that, join the arsenal below where I teach you how to work through AI and from a non-technical person's perspective, right? And now I will caveat this, right? There's a disclaimer. When you start down this route, you will learn software development things. You will learn technical things. It's just part of the process. You will learn about terminals. You will learn about APIs, about CLIs, about MCPs, all that kind of stuff. But you'll be able to learn slowly as you start working through AI and as you start getting ideas and you're working with your AI that you've built and you're working with your local knowledge vault that you've set up and you're like, hey, how do I do this? Give me the step-by-step process and it'll walk you through some of those things. How do I know? Because that's similar to the process that I have went through by working through this stuff. I didn't know how to build software applications or dashboards or anything like that. I didn't know how to set up my own databases, my own authentication. I didn't know how to secure API keys or anything like that before I started with working through AI over this past year. But I pride myself as someone who is willing to learn and willing to get his hands dirty and figure things out. And the hardest part is trying to do everything all at once. Okay, that holds so many people back, thinking that they need to understand and know everything before they can actually produce something of value, something that's useful, and that they need to fully understand everything. There's cases where that's true, but where they need to fully understand everything before they can move forward. That's not the case, right? You need to find problems out there and then work with AI or work through AI. And the reason why, right, even for all the AI haters out there and everything, is that it's such a powerful tool. It enables you to harness experience and information at a level that you weren't able to do before. And it gives you basically a step-by-step tutor or mentor or coach that can walk you through the process, the things that you need to do in order to actually get the results or the outcome that you want, okay? You basically be shooting yourself in the foot right now, trying to do a lot of things and not using AI, right? It's a tool, it's available, treat it as such, and it's a really extremely valuable tool. You know, it's like the cell phones, it's like the internet, it's like social media. It just adds a lever you can pull that just has huge benefits when used correctly, right? It can be very easy to use it and get what I like to call video game results, which are things that look sexy, look fun. I keep seeing these posts, by the way, on X about, oh my gosh, Claude Mythos lets you produce award-winning websites for basically free. Web designers are cooked, right? This is very extreme, hooks for that. Hey, those hooks can work, but I see these websites and I'm like, man, I have in my professional life, in my personal life, in my consumer life, I have like hardly ever come across these websites, okay, where they're like interactive and have all these graphics and really cool 3D stuff. On occasion, I've come across them and I hate them, okay? I hate them. Like, the only part of me that likes them, like, oh, that kind of looks cool. But beyond that, it's like, okay, like, how do I get the thing that I want from this website? Like, people think that you need to have something that looks super fancy and super sexy to get results, but that's not how life works, and that's not actually what gets results. What gets results for people is you give them the thing that they need, right, or they're looking for, in a really easy, digestible manner that allows them to take the next step, right, as easy as possible. And I know this from marketing, right? You want to create as little friction and little resistance to the sale or to moving the customer or the prospect or the lead to the next step. And this is one of the things that I built my business on, because this all started with, it didn't start with Russell Brunson, but he definitely popularized it with ClickFunnels. And the whole concept of that was people are spending money, they're driving traffic, they're creating content, and they're sending them to a website. And a website has all these different topics, all these different pages on the website. It has the blog, it has the about, it has the contact, it has the products, all these things, and they send the traffic there. And when the traffic that lands there, right, the traffic that they harness, that they paid for, they worked for, that they created with the content, right, that wanted to go to that site for a specific thing, is now presented with a ton of options, right? It's a ton of different things. And now that the customer has decision paralysis, right? They have to actually analyze more things. They have to figure out where the thing that they want actually is, and they get lost, right? And they drop off, and the conversion's so much lower. And so funnels, the whole idea, the whole concept was, you talk about a topic, right? You generate that interest, you generate that desire in the customer, in the prospects, and whoever's watching the video, and you give them a clear path on how to actually get it. And when they go, right, when they click the link to the page or whatever it is, it clearly says, hey, this is the thing that you're looking for. Here's what it is, and here's how to get it, and here's why it's awesome, right? And there's nothing else, right? And they can either click off the page, right? Or they can click to buy it or click to sign up for the lead form. And so you're making it super, super simple, okay? And so when I see this stuff with AI and see all these models and all these model benchmarks, I just always go back to, okay, how can you simplify it, and how can you benefit from it? And the way it's simplified is, don't worry too much about the models and all the updates and all of that, right? It's fun chatter, right? But does it actually get you results? Excuse me. No. What gets you results is using the strongest model that you can, because there are performance differences between the different models. Opus 4.8 was like amazing a month ago, right? If it was amazing a month ago, it's still amazing now. It can still do amazing things. You don't always need the latest and greatest model, because often the benefits from that latest and greatest model don't necessarily correlate to extra benefits for the specific type of work or the specific type of value you're creating. And so, yes, it's good to have it. If you can, fantastic, that's amazing. It's not necessary. The big gap, the big jump up for people when it comes to AI with these models is moving from the free and low tier paid subscriptions to the more premium subscription, the $200 a month subscription. So you get access to more context, larger sessions, and more powerful models, right? That's really the key. And really the key is that you could get to use the AI for more for longer. Okay, so you're not cut off because you run out of limits for your AI. That's one of the bigger value adds from using the higher tiered subscriptions. And it's a bummer that you have to pay for those, but it is what it is, right? And we're in this window of time where that's the opportunity, and that may change, but it doesn't mean that it may change, and so you get to adapt when that happens. But that's just something that you need to think about. And I think about this when it comes to these models, right? Just get the model, master how you work through it. And so this is why you need to have like Claude Code set up, Codex set up, that you're working through that. So you have your local knowledge vault and database, so where you can actually build and deploy agents, right? These are skills and things that add, that give you leverage in your work. Okay, that you don't necessarily get by just using ChatGPT as a glorified Google or just a chat. And don't get too hung up on the latest and greatest models and this one and that one, because at the end of the day, they're all going to keep getting better. And so Mythos today, right? In 3 months from now, 6 months from now, it's going to be a lower tier model. There's going to be a better one. And the better one's going to be amazing. But then the lower tier, the models, the high end models, they trickle down to the lower tier subscriptions and the lower tier plans. And eventually the models are going to be so good, right? It's basically a race to zero for these things. And so you're just trying to be right now, and I talked about this, the window of opportunity is the next 6, 12, 18 to 36 months. You just want to be a little bit ahead, okay? By being a little bit ahead, it gives you an edge. You don't need to be at the front of the pack. You don't need to be the most advanced person ever on these topics, right? I don't think it gives you too much more of an edge there for what people actually want and need and will pay for. You just need to be a little bit ahead with these models. And so that should be your goal, not to always have the latest and greatest, but have the thing that works and works well enough for the things you're trying to do today, the problems you're trying to do today, the products and services you're trying to sell today for your customers today. And I'll just end with, I do mountain biking, and I'm looking at my mountain bike in the garage and I see all these sexy new mountain bikes and there's always technology, but I was like, wait, the mountain bike I bought like 4 or 5 years ago, that was the sexy new mountain bike, right? That thing is awesome, right? It has amazing suspension, has great geometry. It looks cool. It rides great. It's awesome, right? It needs a tune-up, right? But it's still amazing, and it worked for the trails 4 or 5 years ago. I can tell you that the trails in mountain biking haven't advanced as much as like the modern mountain bikes, even though modern mountain bikes haven't advanced that much, right? It's a lot of just marketing, bells and whistles. And sure, modern bikes produced today might be a little bit better, but my bike was still amazing on the trails 5 years ago. It doesn't make it less amazing on the trails, right? It still does the job really, really well. And so that's what you got to think about for these models, is they will have these improvements, but you're still dealing with people. And people still have the same problems, and you're still dealing with a lot of the same work tasks. They aren't evolving as fast as the models are evolving, and that's a great thing for you. I recently made a lesson in the Arsenal on local models and how local models keep getting better and better and better. And the cool thing about that is I have this old this MacBook. This is I think an M2. I think it's an M2 MacBook. It's not it's a Mac Mini. And it has Mac Mini, and it has decent processing power. When I bought it, I was using this as my primary desktop computer to do my work, to do my recordings, to do my live streams, and all that kind of stuff. And I since have upgraded my computer, but I have this, and I have another one that I'm running my local models on. I need to get this one hooked up. But the cool thing is, because local models are getting faster and better, eventually the local models, that they're not quite as good as like the frontier models, Opus 4.8, Codex 5.5, or soon to be 5.6, and Claude Mythos and all those. They're not quite as good as that, but they're getting better and better and better. And eventually, the local models will be equivalent to what Opus 4.8 is today, or what Claude Mythos is today. And not only will they be equivalent to that, but the device required to run that level of intelligence will get smaller and smaller. So you will have to have a less premium device. So this device here, right, this is actually, and it's so weird to think about, but this is actually an appreciating asset in the world of AI. Now, today, it can run some local models, some smaller local models. They're not amazing, so it can do some tasks. But in 3 months, 6 months down the road, as those models get compressed and you can fit larger or more powerful models on smaller and smaller devices, by smaller I mean like less RAM, less hard drive and all that kind of stuff, right? It unlocks these old devices. It's incredible, right? It's wild to think about it like that. And so that's what's happening in this space. And so yes, there are ways you can have an edge. You don't have to go and buy all the latest and greatest Mac Studios and all that kind of stuff right now. If you have stuff, just know the power and potential is coming to you. And so what you need to do is you need to put a plan in place so that you can harness that so you're ready for when that comes. So you've learned how to work through AI, you've learned how to integrate that into your workflows, you understand what these options are that are available to you, and so when the time comes, you can deploy them. And this is all part of that send it, don't master it, right? So you're doing the work today, right? You're not letting, I need to master this, get in the way of you actually starting and implementing stuff. And the reality is over time, you will become a master of this stuff, or at least as good of a master as you can be in this age of infinite intelligence and this exponential curve with AI, right? You'll at least be better. You'll be more of a master than everyone else who hasn't started and who hasn't got things done. So anyways, that is it for this video. If you want to join the arsenal, if you want to learn about local models, about AI, different platforms, how to build, voice profiles, how to build, content, all this kind of fun stuff in a practical way that actually gets you real results and isn't super techy, click the link below and join the arsenal. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.